Menstruation is a natural process experienced by more than 50% of the population. It's a normal part of life for most women. However, menstruation is surrounded by a social stigma. This stigma has historical roots in cultural institutions such as religion, but has evolved in the hands of the modern American media. It is also perpetuated by cultural phenomena, such as the sexual objectification of women and a socially enforced silence around the topic of menstruation. What is the first word that comes to mind when you think of menstruation?
Yuck.
Advertisements frequently aim to make women feel ashamed or embarrassed about being caught or discovered menstruating. For instance, this ad uses the tagline, "Embarrassments happen, leaks shouldn't," to elevate the embarrassment caused by showing menstrual blood.
Hey girl.
Do you ever wish you could make some things just disappear?
This second ad reinforces the concept that menstruation should be a cause for embarrassment by glamorizing discreetness, secrecy, and specifically using the word disappear. Many ads glorify the idea of feminine purity and imply that visible bleeding violates this ideal. Menstrual blood is taboo to the extent that ads do not even show any red liquid.
How do you think the media portrays menstruation?
Inaccurately, definitely, like as this, like, let's get rid of it, let's make it clean, like let's, be active while we're on it. Yeah, like there's all great things, except it doesn't ever talk about like, this is a beautiful thing that we can do this and we can have babies and we can be fertile.
This stigmatization has numerous negative effects on women. For instance, forced silence about a topic so crucial to their health can cause women to feel anxious, frustrated, and confused. As Karen Hupert writes in her book, Menstruation, Confronting the Last Unmentionable Taboo, after a while it becomes psychologically disorienting to look out at a world where your reality does not exist. Cultural perceptions of PMS lead others to see menstruating women as emotionally unstable, overly irritable, and otherwise incompetent. This contributes to a skewed perception of the differences between the sexes, as articulated by Rosalind Barnett and Carol Rivers in the essay, Men and Women Are from Earth. They ask, are women the caring, sharing, open sex, while men are hardwired to be strong, silent, self-absorbed, and uncomfortable with emotions? This portrait of the sexes has become conventional wisdom.
PMS is kind of a thing constructed by the media in which we're supposed to be bitches during this period of time, or it's our time that we are allowed to be bitches.
These modern stereotypes have ancient roots. Even before the concept of menstruation was understood scientifically, it was stigmatized. For instance, menstruation is described in the Bible in the following terms. When a woman has a discharge, and the discharge in her body is blood, she shall be in her menstrual impurity for 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening. Leviticus 15:19. The belief during the times of Aristotle and the ancient Greeks was that women were slowly breaking down, losing blood each month. Women's menstruation was seen as proof of their inherent inferiority.
Yeah, it's kind of like pooping. That's true. Like girls don't talk about their poops, and they don't really talk about their menstruation either. And it's something that we don't really want to have thought about us. We don't want people to think about us like menstruating.
Now that we understand that menstruation is completely natural, why does the stigma surrounding it persist? The stigma is perpetuated through the sexual objectification of women, which partly explains why women are self-conscious and try to conceal their periods, as well as the socially enforced silence around menstruation. Menstruation is typically avoided in everyday conversation, and not discussed openly except for in private settings among females or in mandatory settings, such as class or in the doctor's office. The communication taboo around periods sends the message that being on your period is embarrassing, and therefore should be hidden from others. Open discussion of menstruation is frowned upon, and usually met with a reaction of disgust, which can lead to social isolation. Ingrid Johnston-Robledo and Joan Chrysler write in their article, The Menstrual Mark, when teachers separate girls and boys to view films about puberty, and when mothers arrange one-to-one private facts of life talks with their daughters, they are conveying not only facts, but guidelines for communication. They are marking menstruation as a special topic, not one for ordinary conversation. Have you ever had a conversation with girls about their periods?
Yeah.
How did you feel about it?
I didn't like it.
Why do you think you were uncomfortable with it?
Because that shit is awkward.
Maybe women, especially in the media, are thought of more sexually than men, I think. And, most bodily functions like that are not really considered sexy or, appealing.
Another mechanism that perpetuates menstrual stigma is the sexual objectification of women. Women are glorified as sexy and pure, a schema which is violated by menstrual bleeding. The shame women experience over bleeding intensifies already existing feelings of inadequacy over not meeting cultural beauty standards. As a result, women avoid sexual behaviors during menstruation and try to distance themselves from their menstrual cycles. We've established that media portrayals of menstruation give women feelings of shame, guilt, and embarrassment. In Jen Frederick's essay, The First Taboo, How Menstrual Taboos Reflect and Sustain Women's Internalized Oppression, she says, "These taboos are reiterated to women over and over again, not only by other women, but also by the mainstream media. It promotes the image of menstruation as polluting by pushing the image of women needing feminine hygiene products." Rather than talking about their feelings openly, women are conditioned to remain silent on the topic of menstruation. This stigma and silence has negative effects on women psychologically and socially. So what can be done to lessen the stigma? Real change will only come with the existence of an egalitarian social structure between the sexes. But having educational institutions support open dialogue and encouraging females to talk about menstruation will start to deconstruct the taboo.
I also made you this to help soothe your womb.
It's a mix. Even flow, red wine.
Sunday, Bloody Sunday?
Adam, did you make me a period mix?
That's so romantic.
Frank Sinatra. I've got the world on a string.
Oh.
That's the doozy.
I think if girls were more open about it, I think you would start to see those kind of barriers come down. Because personally, I have that experience that they do talk about it, and I'm okay with it. I would prefer to know, so I don't assume that someone's being a jerk for no reason,
Awesome.
So yeah, be open, ladies. Get out there. Periods for all.
Compared to pads, Tampax helps keep your period private. But if you still want people to know, rent a mariachi band.
Oh yes, it is a special time to celebrate her mountain miracle. She's on her period. Oh, yeah. Listen to me and look at her, she's on her period today.